Hello everyone. After completion of our first chapter about the stress strain, a vast chapter for both mechanical and civil students, today we will move to the next chapter, that is principal stress and strain. In syllabus it is mentioned the different name, but the content is same for both civil and mechanical. So whatever the topic, whatever the theory and problem I will do, that is common for both of them. Okay, nothing difference for both the branches. So starting with your mechanical students, the syllabus mentioned, the name is 2D stress system, your third chapter, the 2D stress system. And in your civil syllabus it is mentioned that complex stress and complex strain. Okay, the chapter name is different but the content is same. Okay, so before going to this chapter, as this chapter is related to our stress strain chapter, so I want to cover this first. Okay, why I am telling this? Because in your mechanical syllabus the second chapter is thin cylinder and thick cylinder is there, that is not at all connected with the stress strain chapter. So I want to leave that chapter for last, that I will teach you at last, the thin cylinder, thick cylinder. Okay, so that I will cover for mechanical students, that is separately, but this lecture and this chapter is common for both civil and mechanical. Okay, so starting with this chapter, principal stress strain. So before going to this chapter, I want to give some idea about the chapter, that is starting with principal plane. Most of the time you will come across with this term principal plane and principal stress. And you will come across normal stress, and you will come across with shear stress. These two you already know, normal stress and shear stress. These two are new to you all, that is principal plane and principal stress. What does it mean? Okay, when we take a suppose a body, okay, it is acted upon a tensile force, that normal stress, that is sigma 1 here, here also sigma 1, this is sigma 2, it is also sigma 2. Okay, so in this body you can see here, this body is only acted upon by the normal stress, the tensile stress, sigma 1 here, here sigma 2. Okay, only tensile stress, that is, or compressive whatever, that is only normal stress is present. Okay, so in that case the normal stress is called the principal stress. These are the principal stress. You can write here in bracket sigma 1 comma sigma 2. Principal stress means sigma 1 and sigma 2. Okay, and the what is principal plane then? So in the plane where the only principal stress acts upon it and the shear stress is 0 at that point. Normally the stress system is, suppose here it is sigma 1, it is sigma 1, I am write xy to show the principal stress, here also sigma x, here sigma y, here also sigma y. Okay, so in this case the body is generally subjected to one shear stress here. Shear stress is generally acted upon like this, parallel to the surface. So here in this plane shear stress, in this plane shear stress will be equal, suppose tau. Here also same case, it is acted upon tau shear stress. Okay, if this shear stress is not acted upon that body, that normal stress only is called our principal stress, that is sigma 1 and sigma 2. So in this case all things are cleared, 4 things I just noted down here. Again I am explaining. So in this case, if the body is subjected to sigma x and sigma y and shear stress, so these will be called normal stress and tau will be called shear stress. So normal stress will be our generally sigma x comma sigma y. Shear stress means tau. Principal stress means sigma 1 sigma 2. Principal stress means there should not be any shear stress. In this plane it is principal plane, because in principal plane only principal stress will act, sigma 1 and sigma 2, no shear stress. Shear stress will be 0 on principal plane. It should be clear to everyone. So in this plane shear stress is 0, no shear stress acts upon that body. Okay. The other generally 4 terms you will come across in this chapter. So these are the fundamental ideas of so now to understand this chapter, so there are 2 methods you will come across to understand the chapter. One is analytical method, another one is graphical method. Okay. Analytical method divided into 4 cases, that will study case 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 cases. And graphical method is completed by only one method, that is Mohr circle method. Okay, Mohr circle method. So total summary of this chapter, if we will complete this analytical and graphical method, then this chapter will be over. Okay. Analytical method 4 cases and it is 1 case. Total 5 cases are there to study this chapter. So we'll start with case 1. Okay. Today in this class. So I suggest the students to classify the 5 cases, note it down 5 cases, and this chapter only contains more number of formula. Okay. So I suggest to remember the formula to solve the problem. Okay. If you will not remember the formula, then you cannot solve problem. For 5 cases, generally these 4 cases contains formula. This is one graphical method, that different, I will teach you. But these 4 cases, the formula of these cases you should remember to solve the problem, otherwise you cannot solve. So starting with our case 1. So analytical method case 1. Case 1. Member subjected to uniaxial stress. What do you mean by uniaxial? Uniaxial means only one direction stress. Okay, one stress. Okay, there should not be any 2 stress, because in this case, in the previous what I have done here, I have written here sigma x, here sigma y, 2 stress, but in this case you can see here only one stress. This is the example of uniaxial stress. In this is the body and this is applied to only one stress, sigma x, sigma x. Okay. So what this case tells us, if in problem, only problem will come in this chapter, we should understand the problem. If the member is subjected to uniaxial stress. Only one stress will be given in the problem, suppose sigma x, and you have to find out the normal stress sigma n and the tangential stress or shear stress. So I can denote here by like this. This is normal stress and this is tangential or shear stress or shear stress. Okay. So if someone will tell it is a member and is subjected to sigma x, the uniaxial stress, and you have to find out this normal stress and shear stress in another plane, that is at an angle of theta to the vertical member. Okay. So in this case, if this plane a dash is subjected to stress sigma x and at an angle theta from the vertical plane, so you have to find out your normal stress and shear stress. Sigma is normal stress, tau is shear stress. So you can find out by using the formula sigma n equal to sigma x cos square theta. That's it. That's so simple. And for tangential stress, you can find out sigma x by 2 into sin 2 theta. So these are the two formula for case 1 that you have to remember. Okay, these two formula you should remember so that you can solve the problem. Suppose in some cases, that is rare, if someone will tell to calculate the resultant stress, suppose sigma r, you can find out by taking the square of both the term and the root of it. Sigma n square plus tau square root over will give you the resultant stress. Clear? So these are the three formula generally to find out the normal stress and shear stress. After doing one problem, it will be more clear. Let's solve one problem related to our case 1. After studying the theory of each cases, we will solve one problem so that it will be more clear to everyone. So let's do the problem. So this is the problem given related to uniaxial stress. So according to the problem, a circular shaft is subjected to an axial pull of 100 kilonewton. So we have given, first write down given data. To solve any problem, I repeatedly saying, first write down given data. So P is given 100 kilonewton. Clear? Next is given, find the normal stress, tangential stress and resultant stress. Okay, so we have to find out sigma n, sigma t, or you can write tau, and sigma r inclined at 30 degree to the cross section of the shaft. So given theta is 30 degree. Okay, and the diagram of this problem is given already in the problem. Okay, this circular shaft, the pull is given 100 kilonewton, and the diameter is 40 mm. It is 40 mm. Okay, so diameter is given 40 mm. You have to find out sigma n, tau and r. So how to find out? So according to normal stress formula, you can write sigma x cos square theta. So you have to find out your sigma x here. How to find out sigma x? Stress. Stress means our basic formula is load by area, yeah, force upon area. So load is given, area you can find out. What will be area? Pi d square by 4, pi by 4 into d square. So pi by 4 into 40 square. So it is coming around, area is 1256.63. 0.63 mm square, okay, and your P is given, you can find out stress sigma x. So sigma x will be how much? P by A, just divided by area. So P is given 100 kilonewton, 100 into 10 to power 3 by area 1256.63. So it is coming around stress, that is 79.57 megapascal. Clear? So now put the values here, you can find out these three values. That's simple. Put it, sigma x cos square theta, sigma x means 79.56 cos square 30. So it will come in around 59.68 megapascal. Now find out shear stress, sigma by 2 sin 2 theta. Sigma x is 79.56 by 2 into sin 60 because 2 theta. So it is coming 34.45 megapascal. Clear? Now the last thing, resultant stress you can find out by using formula, our sigma n square plus shear stress square root over. So it is coming around 59.68 square plus 34.45 square root over. So it is coming 68.91 megapascal. These are the three answers. Okay. So this is so simple problem. Like this problem will come according to case 1. So it is case 1. Next, hope this problem will be clear. So after this problem, now I want to move for case 2. So for today's class, only this much lecture. Next class we will cover case 2 and related to the problem of case 2, then case 3, then related to the problem of case 3. Like this we will go ahead. So I want to wind up this class. If any doubt you can ask me. Thank you.